There used to be a fruit, native to America, that delivered triple the vitamin C of apples, complete protein, and enough minerals to fuel explorers and entire families. Praised by presidents, vital to tribes, it fed the country. Modern food systems quietly erased it. Its downfall was not health, but inconvenience. If the best fruit could vanish this easily, what else have we lost without even realizing? Before food came with expiration dates and barcodes, survival meant knowing what the land could offer, season by season, patch by patch. In the woodlands and river valleys of the East, there was a fruit that signaled abundance. Its arrival was a marker in the year, as familiar as the return of birds or the first frost. Older than the country itself, its story is woven into the memory of those who lived here long before commerce or industry. For the Shawnee, Cherokee, and Choctaw, the knowledge of this fruit was passed mouth to mouth, parent to child. There were no written guides. The right time to harvest was learned by watching the trees, feeling the softness of the fruit, listening for the gentle thud as it dropped to the forest floor. In late summer and early fall, families moved through the groves for the harvest, gathering the heavy, green-skinned fruit in baskets, eating it fresh or saving it for leaner months. The pulp was scooped out, seeds removed, and the flesh pressed into cakes, left to dry in the sun. These cakes could last through winter, tucked into packs or stored with care, a reserve against hunger when the snow closed in. But the fruit offered more than calories. Its bark, tough and fibrous, was stripped and twisted into cordage, ropes, fishing lines, nets, and mats. In some places, these fibers were as valued as the food itself. The tree stood as a living resource, its gifts extending beyond the kitchen to the daily work of survival. There was no ceremony that survived in written record, but the act of gathering, of sharing the harvest, of tending to wild patches, carried its own quiet reverence. The fruit was not owned, it was shared. In some tribes, it became a symbol of home, a reminder of ancestral lands even after removal. For the Shawnee, memories of pawpaw groves lingered long after forced migrations, a thread connecting present to past. Today, much of that knowledge exists only in fragments. Stories of drying pulp, of weaving bark, of the taste of fruit eaten under the trees. These are held by a few knowledge keepers, their voices echoing in a world that moves faster than any season. When the fruit faded from daily life, so did the skills to find it, save it, use it. What was once common sense became rare expertise. The loss is not only of a food, but of the memory of how to live with it, and the landscape that made it possible. Asimina triloba. The scientific name rarely appears in modern produce aisles, but its nutritional profile outclasses almost everything on those shelves. The pawpaw is not just a relic of memory or a footnote in oral history. It is, by every measurable standard, a nutritional powerhouse. 100 grams of fresh pawpaw delivers 3 times the vitamin C you'd find in the same amount of apple, and more than twice what bananas provide. Every bite is dense with minerals, over 1/3 of your daily iron, more than half of your copper, and a full day's supply of manganese. Magnesium, the mineral that keeps nerves and muscles firing, comes in at nearly 30% of daily needs. But the surprises don't stop at minerals. Pawpaw is one of the few fruits in North America that contains all the essential amino acids, making its modest protein content unusually complete. For anyone relying on wild harvest, this meant not just calories, but building blocks for muscle, bone, and blood. There is natural fat too, rare in fruit, plus fiber for slow, steady energy. The antioxidants in pawpaw pulp, including epigallocatechin and p-coumaric acid, work quietly to protect cells from damage, fighting the free radicals linked to heart disease and cancer. Even the skin and seeds offer antimicrobial chemicals that can ward off bacteria. In a side-by-side comparison, pawpaw doesn't just keep pace with apples, bananas, or oranges. It leaves them behind. Apples are mostly sugar and water. Bananas offer potassium, but little else. Oranges have vitamin C, but far less iron and protein. The pawpaw's nutritional density is so pronounced that early explorers, Lewis and Clark among them, survived on little more than the fruit during lean stretches. George Washington, who planted pawpaws at Mount Vernon, called it his favorite dessert. Yet for all this abundance, the pawpaw is nearly invisible in modern diets. Its nutritional advantages are not theoretical. They are documented, measured, and confirmed by decades of agricultural research. The paradox is not that the pawpaw disappeared because it lacked value. The real question is how a fruit this rich in nourishment could vanish from the American table at all. Pawpaw fruit, for all its richness, was never built for travel. The biology that made it so nourishing also made it unmanageable by truck or train. Once picked, the fruit's chemistry changes almost instantly. Ethylene gas floods through the flesh, triggering a rapid softening that turns firm pulp to custard in less than 3 days. The skin, thin and easily bruised, offers little defense. A simple bump or squeeze leaves black marks, and the fruit's creamy interior begins to ferment. In university shipping trials, the numbers were unambiguous. Within 24 hours of harvest and transport, up to 70% of pawpaws arrived unsellable, split, leaking, or already rotting. Even with careful handling, the fruit's shelf life rarely stretches beyond a weekend. Apples and bananas can cross continents, and pawpaw can barely cross a county line. Its nutritional value is locked behind a biological clock that starts ticking the moment it is picked. The problem was never flavor or nutrition. The problem was that pawpaw refused to wait. In a world built on moving food farther and faster, this fruit could not be made to fit. Refrigeration changed everything about food. In 1940, Frederick McKinley Jones patented a portable refrigeration unit, a device that let trucks and rail cars carry perishable goods coast to coast. Supermarkets, rising after World War II, quickly set new standards. Produce had to look perfect, last for weeks, and survive the journey from California fields or Florida groves to shelves in Chicago or New York. Cold storage made it possible to move apples, oranges, and bananas on a national scale. But it also wrote new rules about what counted as food: uniform size, hard skin, and the ability to stack without bruising became more important than taste or nutrition. Every link in the chain, the grower, the packer, the shipper, and the retailer, demanded predictability. The pawpaw, with its soft flesh and short window of ripeness, could not pass these tests. It did not matter if it was more nutritious or more flavorful. It did not matter that it had fed generations. If a fruit could not survive the cold chain, it was left behind. The market did not punish the pawpaw for what it was. It simply stopped making room for it. No law was ever written against the pawpaw. There was no campaign, no public debate, no headlines. The end came quietly, one decision at a time. County extension agents, following new guidelines, stopped recommending pawpaw trees to farmers. Reports labeled the crop as non-viable, too perishable, too unpredictable for the demands of modern markets. Grocery buyers, faced with bruised fruit and short windows for sale, dropped it from their orders. The last commercial orchards in Ohio and Kentucky converted their land to apples, peaches, or soybeans. Some trees were bulldozed, others were left to the wild. In meeting notes and agricultural bulletins from the 1950s and 60s, the fruit is simply missing, absent from lists of supported crops, absent from plans for the future. Farmers, pragmatic and unsentimental, moved on to what would sell. universities turned their attention to fruits that could be bred for uniformity and storage. The pawpaw did not fail because it was unworthy or unwanted. Its disappearance required no ban, no villain. It vanished because the system offered no place for it. In the end, omission was enough. Today, the pawpaw survives on the fringes, not because it failed, but because efficiency won out over nourishment. As food insecurity rises and diets worsen, the foods we lost reveal the cost of our choices. What nourishes us is not always what industry preserves. The question is, what do we preserve next?